Welcome to another edition of your Wednesday night Sports Delight, the platform sports talk show.
Question is, did she subscribe?
Right.
She's down on YouTube.
Representing from the Boondocks. What up, Jobo?
Hello, what's up? Happy Wednesday.
What up? She repping her Hey Sister Soldier look right now. Everybody give it up for Bunny. What's happening, Bunny?
What up? Happy hump day.
T-Bone, what's going on, brother?
I'm back, and I don't know about better than ever, but I'm back.
What is going on, party people? It is your Wednesday night Sports Delight, the platform sports talk show. I am your boy Smooth. I think that may be on a highlight reel tape. And be glad that you are tuning in live along with the millions
And millions
of the platform sports talk show fans on once again your Wednesday night Sports Delight.
Really?
Or
Brinks truck backing up in his driveway with
There you go.
97 million. There you go.
all you hear is this.
Always somebody who's doing something to give back and letting the next generation.
Say straight.
Have me syrup on here.
Come on now, don't hit me too up. You know I get emotional.
But people watching around the world, no pressure. And we already have our favorite fan, Ms. Williams, saying, welcome, Brandon.
Well, how are you? Hi, Ms. Williams.
A guy who tried to give it his all and put on for the city, to be truthful. Because like I said, I'm St. Louis die hard.
The views of Smooth does not reflect the platform sports talk show or its sponsors.
What is going on, party people? It is your Wednesday night Sports Delight, the platform sports talk show. I am your boy Smooth. I am back. I am here on your screen. And you know what that means. We have another great show in store for each and every one of y'all. Thank you all for tuning in right now. Do me a favor, get them likes, get them shares going crazy right now, like LeBron going crazy. Let's get them shares going because we have once again another incredible show in store for you. And I am not alone, of course. She holds things down from the Boondocks. Joe Bo, what is happening?
What is up? Happy Wednesday. Like I was telling you before the show, Smooth, some stuff's gone down since we've seen each other last, so it should be a very interesting show tonight.
Yes, it should. I definitely agree. And it's great to have you back on once again, holding things down with me, Joe Bo. Last week we had part one of the Super Show, and we had none other than Guy Torrey, the famous producer, actor, comedian, and it was right here in the TSC, the Saunders Experience. It was Joe Bo's first time coming to the house finally. Joe Bo, just tell me from your point of view, your thoughts on coming over to the house and meeting Guy Torrey, and of course the show that we had last week.
No, it was a good time. I'm fine. I'm happy I finally made it out. But the basement, guys, what you see on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter of all the parties down there, it's pretty dope. It's not just for show. It's pretty dope. But no, it was a great time. It was nice to finally meet Guy in person and see Stan in person since before the pandemic happened. Meets it all.
Right.
See Jamie again. So yeah, I mean, it was a great time and can't wait to do it again.
Yeah, most definitely. So definitely stay tuned for part two of the Super Show, which will be going down on, let me make sure I get my calendar right here. It'll be on December the 27th. That's going to be the Super Show part two. So definitely stay tuned for that. And before I go any further, y'all know what I got to do. I got to promote because that's what I have to do for this brand. So give us a follow on the internets, as the dog says. Facebook, you got the Platform Sports Talk Show. On the X at 314 Sports Talk. On Instagram, Platform Sports Talk Show at gmail.com. You can use that because if y'all know someone who will be an incredible guest on the show, and y'all be like, hey man, y'all should go over here and get on this show, man. It's amazing. They have great guests, they have great conversations. Just have them email us at Platform Sports Talk Show at gmail.com. Also be on that IG at Platform Sports Talk. Once the show is over, it will be automatically uploaded on Roku. So any Roku device, you can add us as a channel, put in the Platform Sports Talk Show. You'll see our logo, and boom, you're good to go. But Joe, there's one thing I forgot, and that's they can go on YouTube and they go to the Platform Sports Talk Show. They subscribe and click on that
bell
because anytime we go live, Joe Bo,
y'all will be notified.
And also, if for some reason you can't see us on your screen, you're kind of busy, maybe you're driving. No, we're all about being safe out here. You can also listen to us in crystal clear, high definition on Hot 365 Radio, where it is always hot. You can go online, hot365radio.com, or on any Android or iOS device, just put in Hot 365 Radio in the Play Store, and you are good to go. And as you see on your screen, every first Wednesday of the month outside of December is Ladies' Night, and every last Wednesday of the month outside of December is the Man Cave. So we have a whole lot going on each week on the Platform Sports Talk Show. If you're tuning in for the very first time, we've been doing this thing for 6 years consistently, y'all. Every Wednesday. If we don't do a show, it's either I'm on vacation or something. Okay, that's the only time we ain't doing the show. But we here and we are ready to rock and roll like Jobo said, man, it's been a whole lot of sports stories going on since our guy Tory interview last Wednesday. Outside of sports, want to give prayers up to Stan. He's down with the vid right now, the COVID. Um, he's doing good. He's in great spirits, but just want to pray for him that he gets better and gets healthy in a quick fashion, so he's back on his feet and doing his thing. For those out there, just remember it's not just about you, it's about others around you as well. So just be mindful of what you do. Be careful. It's the best way that you can. Jobo, I got a feeling that this show here, you might take over this show because of the special guests we have and some of these topics that we need to discuss. So you ready? You excited?
Yeah. So I didn't do much talking last week. Like I said, it was a lot of comedy talk. So I'm excited that we're back to my groove. We got some Blues hockey to talk, some baseball. Nothing Cardinal wise yet, really. Besides the fact
Right.
that it's gonna be Bush Stadium till like 2030 now. Woo!
Right.
So
I saw. Yep.
which is nice. I'm not making fun of it because I could not imagine it calling it anything else other than Bush Stadium.
Exactly.
But yeah, just nothing's happened, but not a lot has happened baseball wise, anyways. Besides a couple big things. But we'll get to that topic, those topics later. But I want to ask you, how did last night go?
Oh man, the Guy Tory show, Fat Tuesdays was amazing. The wifey and I went out there. Sadal showed up. Bunny was there. She brought a couple of friends of hers. Michelle was there as well. Brought her husband, and we had an amazing time. It was my first time going to the Helium Comedy Club. I know y'all like what, but yeah, my first time going. Great atmosphere. It was packed. Got the chance to see Ozzie Smith. He was in the building. Guy Tory brought him up to the stage, showed him love. So I definitely got my eyes on getting Ozzy on the show. Got to make that happen. Got to make that happen. But yeah, overall, Kerry Davis, saw him yesterday, and the platform Sports Talk Show is so famous now. Guy gave us a shout out as well during the show. He gave us about 2 or 3 shout outs during the show. But saw Kerry Davis, and he was like, "Oh, what's up, Fred?" I'm like you know me.
That's awesome.
Like we on a first name basis. No, it was great, man. It was all good. Saw so many people out there, and like I said, just hearing Guy Tory show us love and hearing our brand get out there, so more people can know what we got going on here, which is a very special show. It's definitely a great feeling, and like I said, to be able to bring my fam out there and enjoy some VIP living. We did the Q&A after the show, so when everybody else had to go ahead and leave, we was able to stay and do Q&A with all the comedians, and it was just a great vibe, man. So it was all good. Shouts out, man. I ain't seen this guy in person in so long. Since 2000, I haven't seen this guy, I don't think. My boy Hennessy McQueen, also known as Frank Quinn. Jobo, if you ever seen my dude from high school, we was cool since day one. But if you know Bone Thugs and Harmony, right, Jobo?
Yes.
So Busy Bone or Crazy Bone, no, Lazy Bone, excuse me. He looked just like he could be part of Bone Thugs and Harmony, and he can rap just like him too. I mean, he be I'm like he be rapping just like like he should be part of the group as well. If he isn't an unofficial member, he should be. But good to see that he's tuned in to the Platform Sports Talk Show. Once again, everyone, no matter if you're on YouTube, you on Twitter, you on Facebook, hit that like and share and get more people tuned in. And let's have fun talking sports, because that's what the show is all about. But once again, last night was amazing. We had a great time, and look forward to many more events where I can have all the fam come out and do big things. But with that being said, Jobo, it is about that time. Our special guest is ready. This man here, as I said in a promo, if you have ever been to a St. Louis Blues game, and I always say this, Joe, and I'm gonna keep saying this, going to a Blues game is like going to a big overcrowded, well, not overcrowded, but a big size bar. It's that much fun going to a Blues game. The people are amazing. It's not too rowdy at all. It's a great atmosphere. But one of the reasons why it is a great atmosphere is because anytime the Blues score a goal, then all of a sudden you just hear ding, and you see this man in the rafters just going crazy, getting everybody going, having his towels in the air, and then all of a sudden you just one. So if they score 5 goals in the game, I know his arm be tired. He 1, 2, 3, going to 5. And I had the pleasure of doing a event. It was a real estate conference event that I did back in October, and it was my Smoooth Productions' first time doing an event at a hotel, during the conference period, in which we just provided audio and the visual recording, the whole 9. And he was one of these special guests that came. And when I saw him in the lobby, I had to holler at him and see if I get him on the show. I told him about how we were all about getting stories told, and maybe in a way that they may not have had the platform to do so. And he was more than gracious to be able to do that. He is an alum from South County Tech Trade School, self-employed, Joe, for 38 years. I mean, how amazing is that, to be self-employed for 38 years? He has been a Blues hockey fan since 1967. He's been the Blues official. No, not official. He's been the Blues towel man since 1989. And right now, we have the pleasure of having the one, the only Ron Baechle, better known as the Towel Man. How you doing, Ron?
I'm doing good. How you doing, Smoooth?
Man, I'm doing great. I know Joe Bo is doing well. We have been looking forward to this interview for quite some time, and thanks for taking some time out to be on our show.
Hi, Joe. Here, this was for Joe Bo. We'll get a towel going here for you.
There we go.
I brought some for the show.
Right.
I brought some for the show. This is
the lucky 7. I love it. 7's my lucky number.
Yeah, that's fine too. But that's the maroon game jersey, not jersey, but the towel for that night. But yeah, I got a couple of them with me. I had to show them off for tonight.
There you go. Yeah. Maroon and I went to the same school.
Really?
Oakville. Before I got into the trade school, we both went to Oakville High School. And,
nice.
That's where he graduated. He brought him a championship there too. Everywhere he goes, he brings championships.
Right. Who would have thought that in a span of 4 years or so that he'll win 3 Stanley Cup championships between that time?
Unbelievable. Yep, you got the hockey gods looking over him.
Yeah.
Right. Most definitely. And the Blues fans mad that he's gone.
Well, he brings something, just his size and you don't move him off his space too easy. He claims his spot and he stays there.
Most definitely. And since Joe Bo brought out the towels, I had to go ahead and bring out some champagne from when we won the whole thing. So I had to go ahead and bring some champagne into the campaign on tonight's show.
I love it.
Yeah, so once again, we're gonna have a good time with it. And for those watching, why don't you just tell everyone real quick, Ron, how you and I met and the reason why you were at the Gateway to Freedom conference back in October.
Yes, this was a real estate conference, and one of my sponsors, and I have many of them, asked me if I would show up and just kind of something completely off the wall, counting goals and dealing in real estate. I'm not sure how that works, but I'm gonna have a real estate agent come to a game with me and see how that works. So then we can kind of swap stories back and forth from talking in his event. But I think they just wanted to bring a little bit lighten the mood and do something fun. And I think we accomplished that. And afterwards, of course, you came up and introduced yourself, and we're always always happy to get out and hopefully put a smile on somebody's face. We don't laugh enough.
Right, exactly. And matter of fact, that was said a lot last night during the comedy show about laughing now and worry about being serious the next day, But right now, just laugh, live it up a little bit. So definitely, we doing that now. We do it every show. Got to have a good time doing what we do, especially talking about sports. So normally we get right off the bat and talk about you and your personal life, but we didn't have this plan. But a lot of things have happened over the last 24 hours with the St. Louis Blues.
Just a little bit.
So,
man,
why don't you give us your thoughts when you first heard about Craig Berube being fired from the Blues last night?
Well, it's unfortunately it's something that it goes with the territory, and they just renewed him or signed him up, had him locked in through next year, and it's really I'm very sad because he knows what he wants to do, and if he can get the people to buy in, it works. It really works, and we've lost, unfortunately, maybe too many pieces from the championship years, and when you have as many people that make up a team. And again, everybody has to do their job. The fast guys got to skate fast. You need a lot of young legs to go get the puck, but you got to have the veterans in there to show you where you need to be and show up. So to get the puck to the right place. And unfortunately, coach can't do that. He can tell you how to do it, but he can't do that. So getting everybody on the same page and supplying the same effort. I guess it's the quickest and fastest way to shake up a team. From what I understand, 5 years, right at about the 5-6 year mark, is when, for whatever reason, you start losing your voice doesn't come across. And I've heard Chris Herbert talked about it. He said, for whatever reason, doesn't matter how good the coach is, about every 5th year, something goes stale, and it's tough to keep the wheels rolling. I know we had the coach before him, Joe Quenneville. I was very sad to see him go, and we all know he left here and won 3 cups in Chicago. So I don't think if he wants to work, I don't think he'll be looking very long. But unfortunately. Yeah. Unfortunately, the message right now is just not hitting home with all the players, and hockey. I mean, all sports take everybody, but hockey's 100% of the time, and it just keeps getting faster. And it amazes me how fast it's going now. But it's tough. Being a coach is a tough gig. You're great when you win, and when they lose, unfortunately. You got to take the heat.
So 2 things real quick is one, you mentioned how quick the game is now, and that's something I tell my husband a lot, and I think I've mentioned on the show here lately, is just I don't think Chief is that type of coach. He's a heavier, hard-hitting type of those are the type of guys you need for him, and hockey just changed so much from the 90s, let alone since 2019. Like we had a lot of big guys on that team there. I mean, we just even talked about Pat Maroon. They just traded Bortuzzo away. Petro didn't drop the gloves all the time, but he was big. Boneweester's big. Steen always dropped. You know what I'm saying? Like
I think we had a heavy. Yes, we had a very, very heavy team, and again, those are the kind of players Berube liked, and I think pound for pound. I don't know. We were within the top 3. If we weren't the top team, we were in the top 3. And we wore teams out. We literally wore them out. And but yeah, things are changing, and speed is where things are headed to, or it seems to be. But I don't know the answer. I know I don't envy his job, and as tough as his job is, Army's job is even harder, because you see the potential in these players, but the coach has got to put it together, got to get it out of them. It's not easy.
Yeah, and that's
And
sorry,
go
I
ahead,
was
Joe.
just gonna say is like that's one thing that's I know it's so hard with hockey is it's not like every other sport, you know, like every other sport. I mean, we just saw a human being get paid $700 million, you know, like that doesn't happen in hockey. That's you can only throw so much money at these guys, you know, and so I do think that's something, you know, it's I just think with Army there's been a lot of not so great contracts being thrown out in the last handful of years. And that's all, you know, I don't know what you can do about that. I think there's some people that he let go that he probably should have kept over others.
That's my issue. That's my issue right there. Is that, like, for me, my point of view is I'm putting the blame on the reason why Berube couldn't succeed more was because of the moves made by Doug Armstrong. And the first move was not keeping Pietrangelo, because he wanted to stay in St. Louis. And there are just certain guys I feel that you just have to say, you know what, this normally isn't our way of doing things, but this person was so instrumental to us winning the championship, and he's still in his prime, and you let him go because of your pride. And I think that was like the domino effect of after we lost Pietrangelo, then you're trying to make up to get other guys who maybe hasn't lived up to what you to your expectations since losing Pietrangelo. But that right there was the move that started the domino effect, and now got Craig Berube fired.
I think you're exactly right on there, and unfortunately, things that set that up, from the way I understand it, is there too many no trades, too many no trade clauses, and your hands are tied. And when you got a cap, I know it's easy to look back now and say woulda, shoulda, coulda, and again, it's not an easy job. I'm glad all I have to do is remember my numbers. That's an easy part, and I can even go watch.
Uh-oh.
Did we lose him?
Give me 1 second. Let's see what's going on.
Okay.
Put it back on the screen. Sorry about that. There we go.
That's all right. We're good. Yeah, no, it is tough. It's tough because and I know there were some things in the works, and a couple players, you know, they said I don't want to be traded, and it's tough, because if there's too many of those on the team, you really are, your hands are tied until they're gone, and it's almost like the tail wagging the dog. It's tough.
And before, I don't know if we're moving right along to your personal life, but I just have one more thing though about this is, what do you think makes hockey so different when it comes to coaches and managers? I mean, this is going to be the Chief was our third coach in the last 10 years. So we're going to our fourth one now. Like, what, it happens so often in hockey, and I don't get it. Right.
I don't know the answer to that. I know it more times than not, when they do it, it shakes everybody up, and you get a few good weeks out of the players. But I think if everybody's got to be on the same page. And but yeah, hockey seems to you got this 4 or 5 games sometimes, in some divisions is insurmountable. You can't make that up. I really wished, and I don't know how much it would affect anything, but I wish each game, when you tie, you get a point, and then when you win in overtime, they give another point. Well, they're giving out 3 points on those nights. So I think a win in regulation should be 3 points. That give teams behind, I think, a little bit more incentive or help catch up if you put a string together. I don't know if that's the answer either.
Yeah, I mean, that could be. I mean, they're changing these sports so much every year, I feel like. So maybe that's possibly something that happens in the future.
I know
So-
one thing that I want to throw this in, the paint that they put in front of the goalie, you know, how the he's supposed to have his space there, wasted paint. I don't see anybody. I see everybody occupying that space, and that doesn't make sense to me either.
So, something that I didn't think I would say, but I think now, especially after what has transpired over the last 24 hours, but Doug Armstrong is now in the same area with John Mozeliak now because of what just happened with firing Berube. Doug Armstrong is now officially on the hot seat. He may not have been before, but he is officially now because of this move that a lot of people did not like at all by firing Berube. He is now on the hot seat, and he has to make the right decision for this next coach or for the next movement for this team as they move on from Berube. And it's unfortunate as well, because like I said, I've been saying before in past shows how I've respected how Doug Armstrong has addressed issues. He'll say, yep, we made a bad deal, or, you know, we did this, we'll correct it. You know, he was more of a, he would be more proactive than being reactive. But this move here, I feel, has now put him in the same boat as John Mozeliak, and he has to find a way to get off that ship before he be the one that's tossed off the boat by Tom Stillman and the Blues. And lastly, I want to bring this up is that Berube, he is very well respected, and he definitely earned his stripes. And Joe, you may not have thought about this, but this kind of reminds me of what happened with the Cubs and Joe Madden, because both coaches were the first coaches to win championships with a team. And when you do that, you're thinking like, man, life should be good. You know, everywhere I go, it's free drinks, it's free meals. You know, it's whatever. It's free St. Louis, whatever you want, you good. But then within 2 or 3 years, Joe Madden got let go by the Cubs, and now within 5 years, Berube is gone. And it's unfortunate because you won't be able to hear stuff like this. And for those watching, be mindful. There will be some cussing.
We're here for a fucking reason, because we're a fucking good hockey team, and we're gonna fucking come home with a cup here tonight. Let's fucking go. Sonny, Bo, Perry, Benner, let's go. Let's go.
Best speech in all the sports right there.
Hey, if you're going to sugarcoat it like that, it's going to be tough to get your message across.
Right. Right. Yeah. But what are your thoughts, Joe? I'll start with you first, Joe, in regards to Doug Armstrong in his position right now, especially after this bold move to let go of Berube.
No, I mean, I agree. I do think he's probably next up on the hot seat. And me and my uncle were talking about this all day today. You can't keep giving out these types of contracts and, I don't know, trading people. And that whole Verona thing was even more confusing than anything that happened 24 hours before this happened. And that's probably not even Armstrong's fault. But that was just the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life with hockey. But yeah, I mean, something's got to give. You know, you can't just keep giving out these, like, Scandella. We're stuck with Scandella until that contract's gone. And I hate saying that because these are like players that you like as human beings, but you just can't be giving out those types of contracts. I just don't get it. So I don't know. And again, it's not just him. Like we always say with Mozeliak, it's not Mo's money to give away, yada yada yada. But at some point, the GM has to be punished just as much as the coach. And obviously the players, they're the ones that are blamed first, but what do you do?
Ron, your thoughts?
I just don't have an answer for, I know, again, I think we're in a big transition with the game. We all know Berube's style, and I don't know how many players that are out there that, number one, are willing to play that way or can play that way. There's again, it's you're going fast or you're going big and strong, and I think it's a conundrum because you don't know that the game is definitely getting faster, and I don't know with the personalities that we had, and again it's you can draft size and speed and all that stuff, and this is in any sport, but camaraderie is the one thing that you can't just draft and know it's going to work.
Right. It's one thing. It's like with the Leafs. They have a fairly young team, fast team, and then they went out and got Ryan Reeves. Like that works. You can't just get a bunch of Ryan Reeves and then throw in a Jordan Kyrou and think it's going to work out. And I feel like that's kind of what they tried to do. But I don't know. It's just the game's changing. But that's something I've been saying for a little bit now. We could probably go pull the tapes. I've been saying this about this club for at least 2 years now, that hockey's different and Chief is not that type of coach. Like with this type of team and this type of era of hockey, it doesn't go together. And then that's not to say he can't go to another team and bring them, get them to the promised land. But
and any championship team, I think anytime you win, you've got a 3-year, a 5-year window that they always say, again, your chances are odds. And after we won, Boston and the Blues were the number 1 and 2 team cruising along. And I'm not going to blame it on COVID, but COVID sure took a big bite out of that. And so, I mean, we lost virtually a year and a half, 2 years of that 3-year or 5-year window because things got changed. And again, it's the way it's the way things fall.
Right. So second thing I want to bring up is we recently found out that a well-known and beloved St. Louis Blue is battling cancer, and that's Kelly Chase. You think about him, you think about Tony Twist and them being enforcers, something that we are lacking on this current Blues team. But we all know he's a fighter, definitely on the ice. But your thoughts on his battle with cancer, and have you been able to be in contact with him, or just your thoughts period in regards to?
I found out last night when everybody else did. I didn't realize that he was diagnosed that. But if there's anybody that can kick its butt, it's Kelly. I mean, when you take his role in the National Hockey League, and you retire, and then you go do figure skating. He went up and did figure skating and we didn't tell nobody till he was done. But I believe that he has what he'll pull up, or he'll create whatever he needs to create to beat this thing. I bet on him. Let's put it that way.
Most definitely. So prayers up to Kelly Chase, his family, as he goes through this battle with cancer. So now, Mr. Towel Man, let's get right into yourself. The first question that we normally ask our special guests is, when will you say that you first fell in love with the sports?
I think it's when I first saw it. It was so intriguing to me. I was about 7, 8, somewhere in that area, but it was just so intriguing watching them pass the puck around. And I remember thinking, man, it's really hard to get that away from the other team. And again, such a different game. Back then it was about finesse and faking the other person. I mean, obviously, if you don't remember, goalies didn't even wear masks. It was more, the game was more, you want to fake the opposing team's goalie completely out of position and just slide it behind him. So I don't think it was until Bobby Hall came along that the slap shot became part of the game. and we all know where it is now. It's like, yeah, I'm going to shoot it right through you now. I mean, it's to stand in front of a puck. It's a big deal. But yeah, but early on, I was very intrigued about, again, the pace of it. There's constant action back and forth. And I like the idea you can score when you're killing a penalty on a power play. It's not like baseball or football where you got to have the ball in order to score, obviously, unless you fumble it or take it away. But basketball, again, each team's got an opportunity, and you can score at any time. And I just like the flow of it. It's easy to watch.
What's a power play? Just kidding. Blues don't know either. I was just. I can't believe they have more shorthanded goals than power play.
A power play is what we avoid so that we can score goals. I think we have more shorthanded goals than we do power play goals.
We do. It's so bad. I just had to say something.
So basically, you're saying that hockey was that first love.
Oh, it's for me, it's mesmerizing, and I don't know, when I'm watching it, I feel it. It's a sport. When you watch it, you feel it.
So as a young towel man or towel boy, how would you say you were in regards to playing sports? Did you play hockey as a kid?
Oh,
Did
yeah.
you play
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, every winter. I mean, back then it would get cold enough. We would get ice on the ponds. We'd probably play. I'd say 5 to 8 times a winter. We'd have ice somewhere. But we did a lot of on roller skates and concrete driveways, swimming pools, where we could set up a couple nets. We get out in the yard with a tennis ball, and yeah, we played a lot of makeup hockey.
Nice. Were there any other sports that captivated you that you played while you were a youngster?
Was a big Cardinal fan. I watched and followed the Cardinals back when Gibson and I was at the game that Lou Brock stole his 102nd base. Was very much a Cardinal fan. I think everybody was, and I was a football Cardinal fan. Again, we've had basketball is about the only thing I never really got involved with. I'm not the tallest person around, so I opted more for miniature golf than basketball.
Oh, okay. So, as you were telling me about y'all playing hockey, I thought about Joe, how we had Jeremy Rutherford on about a year or so ago, and I think he had like in his basement, well, like a mini hockey rink. He had a goalie. I mean, had a goal post. Had the little fake ice, whatever, look to the floor. So do you have anything like that similar to your household?
I don't have anything where I have a big enough driveway. We shoot the puck. When my grandson comes over, we'll put the rollerblades on and pass the puck around. I've got an area in my house where I keep all my I guess hockey keepsakes and stuff, hang stuff on the wall and stuff like that. But no place inside the house that we can play. I've seen a couple basements they had the boards, the glass, the goals. I mean, it was flat out have at it.
Do you ever play floor hockey, like roll up a sock and slap with your knee?
We did a lot of that,
Yeah.
as much as we could, and as I got older, I did get to play a half a season with the Oakville ice hockey team, and we always had a group of guys. After high school, we would rent the ice out wherever we could get it. And back then, there wasn't that many ice rinks, and most of the time we were getting ice between 11:30 and 3:30 in the morning to go out and play pickup hockey. But we did that probably for a good 20 years, and yep, we I started out as a center and a winger and wound up playing goalie because we never had enough goalies. So I still got sunburn marks on the back of my neck from the light going on so much.
That had me thinking. I used to watch as a kid the Mighty Ducks, and I know how important it was. You know, you had kids just coming out to the park or in the neighborhood, and they all playing hockey together. Was that something that was going on during your time as a youth, and is that still something that you still see now as you're older?
Yeah, the neighborhood I grew up in, we were always recruiting people to play floor. Basically, it was floor hockey on but yeah, we had that, and wiffle ball games, football game. We played them all. But yeah, anytime we could get a place that had a flat enough surface to roller skate on, that was our game of choice.
Nice. So who would you say taught you how to actually skate? You know, you got some people who can skate forward and side, but they can't do the backwards and, you know, stop on a dime and the whole nine. So who would you say was that person that helped you along your way in regards to knowing how to actually skate?
It's got to be my brother-in-law, Jeff Leahy. I come from a family of 9. There's 8 boys and 1 girl. And as we say, my sister is the brother we all feared the most. And she, her husband now, Jeff, was a big sports guy, big sports fan. He played football, hockey, soccer. Anything with a ball, he plays it, and he's good at it. So he's about 6 years older than I am. So when he was playing ice hockey on a team or a league, when I was most everybody on the team was in their 20s, and I got to start playing when I was about 15 or 16 with the older guys, and he was a big help and a big reason that I learned how to skate. And again, on the ponds, anytime we can get on a pond and get out and skate, we would. A lot of frozen toes in those years.
Right, I'm sure. I am definitely sure. And so tell us about your time at South County Tech.
As I said, but Oakville was our home school, and when you applied to go to the trade school, that was your junior senior year. So there were certain subjects that you had to have out of the way before you could go over there. But it was probably one of the best decisions I could have made at that time, as going as a junior and senior, and learning. I was always into art and graphics and loved to draw and create, and having to get up and go to school and get to do what you love more than 2/3 of the day, and learning a trade. The best part of that is after 2 years you actually graduated with a skill that was employable, and it went on from there. I'm almost embarrassed to say that out of the 2 years I was there, the only day I missed was senior skip day, and that was mandatory.
Right. Can't be mad at that at all. Not at all.
Nope.
What sports did you play while at South County Tech?
I was at Oakville. I was on the diving team and played water polo and soccer at Oakville. And then when I got to South County Tech, I played soccer. They had basketball and soccer were the only 2 things. And my senior year, I got to play the second half of the hockey season for Oakville because that was my home school.
Nice. And Jobo, she is a All-American catcher during her high school years. I played basketball, baseball. I did football, but not in high school. Played tennis. But of all those sports, I actually got a scholarship from playing soccer.
Awesome.
Right. So
Awesome.
I was very big in playing a lot of different sports and everything, just getting out there and doing doing a variety of things. So I see that you were, similar as well, playing different sports too. So with that being said, the $1 million question: how did you become the towel man, the towel guy in 1989?
A big long application. No, I didn't. We actually you got to know how to write first before you can fill out an application.
Right.
We actually went the Blues were having a really good year, and Kelly Chase, Tony Twist, Nelson Emerson, those were the players that the Peoria Rivermen that they were still playing down there at that time. And I believe it was either in 89, 90 or the following year that they actually won down there. It's the Turner Cup, or the league that they were in. And I believe the team put 18 straight wins together, which I believe was a record also. So a friend of mine, Matthew Midas, who was a priest, he found out I liked hockey and was talking to me about it, and said he likes to go up there for once or twice and watch the games up there and see the players that are developing. So it didn't take but probably 15, 20 minutes. He figured out I wasn't priest material, so he thought we could go up and we could do something constructive. So we got to the game, and we saw the guy at the time. I didn't know this. I learned this later. His name was Pete Martin, and he was part of, I believe they call it the Towel Brigade. And the Rivermen would score, and he would stand on a platform, and he would just wave the towel over his head, and everybody would chant for a little bit, and then they'd count the goal. And not knowing the tradition up there, it wasn't until about the third or fourth goal, and then you start seeing 6,000, 8,000, 10,000 people counting. It left an impact, and with that, Matt Midas said to me, he says, "There's something that you can bring back to St. Louis. If anybody could start this or pull it off, I think it would be you." So we got back to St. Louis, and at that time I was splitting my seats with two other people. So I had 10 games, 12 games. And so I told the people in my section at that time was 206. I told about a dozen people that they do this in Peoria. When they score, they get up, they count the goal. We're going to try and start it here in St. Louis. So I'd get a couple games, and we'd do it, and then my section did real well. They would count, and then the next time we do it, and you could see the section on either side. It'd get a little bit bigger. And this was before Jumbotron or any of that kind of stuff. So it just gradually start working its way. You'd get two sections at a time, and so it took almost 3 years for it to catch on, but a lot of that was because the first year I was there 12 games. And I tried to talk to the other people I was splitting the tickets with to get them to do it when I wasn't there, because people started saying, "Hey, when you coming back? That's fun. We like to do that." But nobody else would do it. So the second year I had half a season. So by the end of the third season, we had to go all the way around the arena. And it started to take off, and it again, a lot of fun. When I started, I didn't use the golf size towels. I had bath towels, so I had to get used. I was hitting people in the head with it. I got called every name in the book. Sit down. What are you doing, you idiot? And I just wasn't smart enough to stop doing it. So and then when we moved from there into the Keel, back then it was the Keel Auditorium. Well, then they had the Jumbotron, and then it made it easier for everybody to see it. But getting it to go all the way around the arena, based on who's doing it next to you. That was a lot of fun. And it just turned into, I mean, each year we try and do something to animate it. After every third goal, then I'd start throwing the towels to try and get people excited. And then Magna Bank when they had seen that, and then they asked me to start throwing their towels, but they wanted me to throw a towel after every goal. And then that started the sponsorships where somebody else would help pay for something. And I just always said, as long as I'm having fun doing it, I'm going to keep doing it. And lo and behold, 34 years later, and I'm still having fun doing it.
Man, that's awesome. That's awesome. So just hearing that story and how you started off everything, being yourself and acting crazy and throwing towels around, you can't be shy, doing that in front of 10,000, 20,000 people. So what was it, something that was always in you to just be like, you know what, I don't care where I'm at, I'm just do me and be extra, as they say now? Or did you have to kind of grow into that as you were, getting into that role of being a towel man? Because like I said, it's not easy just to be like, woo, woo, let's go in front of 10,000.
I think you kind of ease your way into it and work your way up, and as it becomes more familiar, or I don't know if anybody ever says, I'm going to start something and it's going to become a tradition. It just kind of happens. That's another thing that Matt Midas, he always come from a place that when you do something for the right reason, all your blessings lie there and good things happen. And I was really doing it for just the pure enjoyment of trying to get the fans excited and get them going. But as far as being shy, I don't think I've ever been shy. Coming from a family of 9, you got to really fight for your space. And we talk really loud. We talk over each other a lot. But it may be a symptom of maybe thinking I didn't get enough attention when I was little. So that might have something to do with it too. But it really is. It's very, I feel very honored and blessed that just doing something as simple as that and getting everybody involved, and people associate you with scoring and celebration and fun. And it's not easy when you're losing 3, 4, 5 to nothing to get up and count one, because I don't think that instills too much fear in the other team. But you have to be consistent and as you said, to go to the game and just get to be yourself. That's truly a blessing.
And then, as you said, just you being able to do something that you love to do, that you have a passion for. That's also, what makes you want to go. It don't matter if it's one person or, 100,000 people. You got a passion for it, you're going to be you regardless.
Well, it's what the one thing that I think fans forget is that a fan needs to be his best when your team's at their worst. Because right. It's easy to get up and hoot and holler when you're just stomping everybody. But when you're losing, hopefully you find something that sparks somebody or sparks the team or gets them. You got to take advantage of any kind of a mood swing, or again, just try and muster up something that's gonna put some put some spark in the team.
Exactly. Now, you brought up the Kill Center, but of course, before they moved downtown, they were right off of Highway 40, right by the Science Center. It was called the Born, the arena, St. Louis Arena. Tell us from your point of view, your experience and how rowdy and crazy it was at the arena compared to how it is now at the Enterprise Center.
I miss that building tremendously.
I do.
It had its own spirit, its own feeling. When you sat there, watched the game, the seats, the slant on the seats, you felt like you were on top of it. When somebody got hit on the ice, you'd almost feel it. And unfortunately, buildings get old, but I don't know the character and the feel and everything and from what I hear, the mice and the rats, I think that was part of the energy in that building too. But I don't know. But when you're a kid, everything is magnified, I think. But it's very. I'll never forget some of the experiences and stuff there. I do miss it. I really miss it.
And I think for me, what I miss is two things. One, inside the arena, of course, but it was a very intimate feeling with that arena. It was feel like you was on top of the action. You was right there. And now with these new modern day arenas, they have it so spaced out so you're not as close and over the action as it used to be. But that's what I miss. It was kind of like a high school feel where the crowd was right over the court or the ice, depending on what event they had there. Number two, in which I wish Bush Stadium would have did this, or the Edward Jones Dome would have done this, or even the Enterprise Center. But the arena had an actual big size parking lot, so you didn't have to worry about parking in someone's house, in front of someone's apartment, in someone's hotel, or parking at a meter. You actually had a huge parking lot that was dedicated to the St. Louis arena. I wish that they would have thought about that when they were building the Enterprise Center and building the Dome and building Busch Stadium, because it just would have made things more convenient for fans. Then you would have had better security as well for people who's parking in those parking lots as well.
Yeah, I totally agree. If the Edward Jones Dome was closer, we could be parking our cars inside there. And then be able to walk to the game. Then you got your own garage. That'd be nice.
Right. Yeah. So.
The difference between the arena and where you're at now, it's kind of like when you go camping and you got that small tent or your small camper and everybody's right there all together on top of each other. And then when you get older, you got the great big drive around and everything. And it's nice and it's pretty and it has all the amenities, but it just doesn't have the feeling.
Yeah. And then I know that a few years ago, there was a huge issue with the city trying to get approval to renovate the Enterprise Center. Thankfully, that, of course, got cleared up, and now it's looking like a top 10,
Yes.
venue around the country. So that's definitely a great thing. And our favorite fan, Miss Dub, is now in the building, as we say. She says, I think St. Louis should require all parking lots that charge for parking to provide security. Otherwise, what are we paying for?
I think that's a great idea, because it's parking's not cheap, and it's when anybody can. Again, it's not as safe as it used to be, unfortunately.
No, it ain't.
I agree with that.
And like I said, going to the Dome, love to go to a game, but of course you have those night games, especially when the Rams were great. But you have those night games, and you got to park, in front of someone's apartment, and you don't know how these people are going to act any given day. So you bringing kids too, so it's a whole lot going on where you don't have that structure of having a set parking lot where everyone can just be right there, and you have thousands of security, just right there, making sure everyone is safe and sound. We shouldn't have to worry about having to park in a meter or parking in front of a, city garden downtown when you got an actual parking lot. Yeah. So I hope in the future, of course we don't know how long that's going to be, but that they start considering more parking lots and garages for big events, like especially even for concerts. My wife and I went to a concert. It was a gospel concert a few weeks ago, and when I say trying to even park downtown took like an hour, like that's just ridiculous.
Well,
And Joe, I know you went to the Dome a few weeks ago to see Metallica. I'm
Yeah, that
sure
was
trying to
brutal.
a spot to park was crazy.
And getting out of the parking garage. We didn't even leave the parking garage until almost 1 o'clock.
yeah, and honestly, in an event like that, you could have a 20-minute walk there and a 20-minute walk to get out, and you actually get out faster because you're walking to your vehicle instead of being caught up. But yeah, if somebody could figure out a more convenient, secure way and faster way to deal with parking, somebody could be very, very beneficial.
And especially, and something that my wife brought up is St. Louis, unfortunately, has so many vacant buildings. No matter where, downtown, in the county, whatever it is. How come we don't break down those buildings and make parking lots? Like you got a whole factory next to the Dome that hasn't been used in God knows how long. How come we're not doing something about it and making use of that space by creating parking lots, or a parking garage or something to accommodate 60, 70,000 people? Like I think about the Beyonce concert, like that arena. I mean, that stadium was filled to the brim with Beyonce fans. But you think about the out of towners who coming in, they don't know about what's going on in St. Louis. But it will be a better presentation to overall just have to accommodate people by making them feel more safe, by not having to worry about being in front of someone's home watching them barbecue in their backyard because you all in a space. But you can be in an extra parking lot provided by that venue, and it just made things much better. That's just my 2 cents.
Yeah, I think that again, it's a great idea. I mean, just brand new soccer stadium,
right?
And they did put a small parking garage next to it, but it's not anywhere near what it needs to be to accommodate.
Right. So continuing on with your time as the towel guy, I know you have plenty of awesome memories of so many games that you have attended. Why don't you give us maybe your greatest game that you have ever attended in your time since 1989?
I just don't know how a Stanley Cup final. There's just nothing compared to it. Having being able to play the games in the Stanley Cup final. But the atmosphere when they first were holding the game watches for that. But I'm going to precede that with the double overtime goal by Pat Maroon. It is easily probably the best live moment at the Enterprise. That was just because you're on pins and needles for the entire overtime, and there was twice that I thought Dallas had put the puck in the net, and but when Maroon scored that, that was again you're in a sense of disbelief almost that it happened. But Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final, again, Blues in Boston, the game watch, and when I heard other places were doing game watches, and your team wasn't at the stadium, I thought it really. I didn't think it. I thought, man, that's silly. That's really silly. And then we went. One of the main reasons we did a game watch is because you could get a ticket for $5, and I took my grandchildren down, and they were great. That you had the entire Enterprise was full. So you've got everybody there for the same reason. And if you couldn't see the ice, you would, if you just went in and looked at the fans and did not look at the ice, you would not know that our team was not playing in that building. It was that magic. Just the atmosphere and the electricity of that was phenomenal. So I'd put Game 7 against Dallas in the second round. That was probably the most exciting single game. And there's been a lot of all the years that Brett Hall sniped all those goals in. That was certainly a lot of fun to watch that and be a part of that. He was almost a goal a game. You could just count on him. He was going to put a goal a game, and I think he ended his career, if I'm not mistaken, with 17 or 18 hat tricks. That's just insane. That's an insane amount of hat tricks.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
And on the flip side of that I'm gonna say World Cup, the Stanley Cup ride that the Blues had, Game 6 of that Stanley Cup.
Yes.
I know the energy at the Enterprise was amazing. I remember going to my best friend's house, and my expectation was, man, this has to be it. We at home. We about to straight win the Stanley Cup that night at our home arena. And of course, we all know that it fell short. Can you tell us, just from your point of view, of course, how surprised or how hurt or how quiet it was at the Enterprise when the Blues didn't come through that evening?
A big disappointment for sure. Arriving that night, because from the get-go, they really didn't give us much of a chance of winning that. And going in, it's like, oh man, how great would this be to bump them off, in 6 games. But I really, I guess my perception is the expectation of them doing it that night is all season long, because we were in last place in January, but all season long, it seems like we were at our best when our back was against the wall. It's like the hand pass game. After that game happened, and they're like, okay, it's over with. We're not gonna make a big deal out of it. And I remember saying I wouldn't be surprised if we win straight, and we did. We won the next 3 games, and so playing that again, I can only imagine what the streets would have been like. It's probably, in some ways, I'm sure it's probably a blessing with the amount of the time, but winning it there and that way would have just been phenomenal, especially for our first Stanley Cup. But I got to tell you, being at Game 7 and going into Boston and shutting them out until there was less than 3 minutes left in the game, that was so gratifying to because they had the perfection line, and the perfection line was not perfect that night. So there was a lot of satisfaction to go into somebody else's building, and if you recall, the home team, I think the home team only won one home game during that series.
Right.
Well, actually, each of the Boston, we won one at home and they won one at home. The rest of them,
that's right, because they won Game 2 in Boston.
Yes. Yep. And then we won Game 3 and then lost 4-1. Yeah. Game 4 went there, won Game 5, and then came back, lost Game 6. But at the end of the day, I don't care how you win it. how many games it was. That was a dream that you often wonder if you're ever going to get to experience it. My brother, my second oldest brother, Dale, lives, eats, breathes football. So for us to have a football team and experience and get to win a Super Bowl, that's just a dream come true, especially with our record of holding teams here. We've been it's like the odds are against you, but the greatest show on turf will always be in St. Louis.
Oh man, can't deny that.
Yeah.
Joe, I know you have some funny stories about your experience doing a Stanley Cup run yourself.
A lot of these bad boys were going down there. Oh my gosh. I remember game 6. My husband woke up and he was just like staring at the wall, at the ceiling, like he did not want to move. He didn't eat all day long, didn't do anything, barely talked all day long. And then after we lost that game, he was like, "All right, we're winning the Stanley Cup in Boston." Like he was just so confident. Like how could you go from being scared, pooping your pants, so nervous, not eating, to we're gonna win this thing in Boston easy. But I remember we went to game 5's watch party, that one where Perron probably should have gotten a penalty against a Noel Achari or Akari, however you say his name. But that was awesome. Those were very fun games, watching them at, with nothing on the ice, like you said, but the place was packed. Atmosphere was like there was a game going on. And then we were at that game 7 against Dallas, and I remember I didn't talk for the entire overtime. This was me. I sat here like this.
You're in disbelief.
And then there was a whistle, and I was stretched. Didn't even look at my husband, and then just go like that. And then the second, you saw Thomas and Maroon right there. I remember just standing up and lost my voice for days, probably. Like that was. I've seen some pretty good hockey games and Cardinals games and whatnot, and been to some awesome concerts, but that's probably the best live entertainment moment I've ever been. No, it's not probably, that is. Like there's so far nothing has topped that. Like I don't think double overtime, and it was amazing.
It is amazing and interesting. It just hit me here. I got over the years. I do cards, different cards. This card here, my daughter took this picture, and this was the day before game 6. Out in front, and that the stick I'm holding was Nelson Emerson's stick, number 7, Joe. So that picture just it was magical to go down there and just see the giant cup on the arena. My favorite, I always like to razz the other team. And again, in a fun way. And I think anybody who loves their team, you should expect to be razzed and stuff. But all of the Boston jerseys that came in, I would tell them that if their team would just apply themselves, they could have an A on their shirt instead of just a B. And I know I like to tell Chicago too, if they'd wash their jerseys, it would look like ours.
Right.
Here, this was after winning the Stanley Cup, though. I had these shirts designed and made up. Never count us out from last to at last.
Nice.
So we it's about going down and having fun. You're paying. People are paying good money to be entertained and go down and have fun. I mean, support your team and be a great fan but go enjoy it. Going down and getting in the scruff with the opposing team, just that never made sense to me. You pay this money to come down and watch your team, and then leaving there mad just kind of defeats the purpose.
I don't know if you have connections or if you did it yourself. I know you're big on graphic designs and everything, but if you can get some shirts to our sports talk show crew, we'd definitely appreciate it.
I tell you what, I'm in the process of having some made. I will get sizes from you, but the shirt says education is important, but counting Blues goals is more important.
There you Love it. Let's make that happen.
Right, we can do that.
Okay,
yeah,
sounds good.
I do get asked a lot. What these are what the towels that I throw. This is what they look like.
Okay,
they've got a graphic on them, and then my sponsors are followed down, and this is what we fold them up like a military flag in a triangle or football, so that we can throw them and get some distance on them.
Awesome. That's awesome. So I have to know, after Game 7, of course, it's going crazy. It's pandemonium at the Enterprise Center. Talk us through the moment that you're leaving your section and going out to the parking lot, going to your car, heading back home, how crazy it was downtown.
I was actually kind of numb. It was you went through so many years of where, oh, this is it, this is our year, this is our year, this is our year, and you really condition yourself for the letdown. And when we won, it was almost like you're numb. Like, is this really happening? Is this really happening? And leaving the building, obviously everybody was excited and hugging and couldn't believe it. And so we just high-fived all the way. We wound up back at Cyberg's on Market, and they were playing Gloria. They just kept playing Gloria. One, well, as soon as it ended, it started again. So I did get them to play "We Are the Champions," and we stood on the bar and sang "We Are the Champions." So that was a lot of fun. But
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll say I'm pretty sure that was the easiest night DJ ever had. It was playing the same song.
That's still my ringtone on my phone. I probably need to change that because now it's depressing, but that's still my ringtone on my phone.
Yeah, the following year we were trying to get him to implement "Oops, I Did It Again," but I don't know if it'll worked.
And I think that the Blues are lacking a certain song to kind of like get this team going again. We brought up Gloria, and that was like the perfect song for that time, and it was just so magical. I feel like we just been struggling trying to find that one song to just get everyone going again and bring everyone back to now. Granted, I know that the third period you have Country Road. So how did that get started? And it just been crazy. I go to games, not all the time, but I like to go to games every season. Maybe once, twice a year. But Country Road just took off. Like,
I think they do that in the second period now for some reason.
Well, they're trying. I think they're trying to tie it in with the code of conduct. That they do a parody with the code of conduct, and it's like, which I find that very the NHL is trying to implement everybody and know what the code of conduct is in the seats, while the people on the ice are beating each other up and hitting each other with clubs. So I'm not sure what message we're trying to get across. But yeah, out of all the songs, I gotta believe there's something in St. Louis that would be more St. Louis. But I guess it's the fact that everybody started singing it, and even after it stopped playing. But there's got to be some other songs. from St. Louis that we can certainly pick one of our own songs that originated here. I mean, for goodness sakes, Chuck Berry's got to have something, huh?
Right. And I'm glad you brought that up because I went to a Battle House game, and the very first game I went to this past season, every touchdown they played Nelly robbing me. It's like, why don't you play some Nelly or something or some Chingy, something,
Exactly.
That would be awesome. So hopefully the Blues think about that. Tell them that Smoooth from the Platform Sports Talk Show said, play some Nelly, some Chingy, some Jaquan or something, and let's do something different for a change, and maybe we'll get a little spark from this team, and we'll go further. But we'll see. But someone else who brought a spark to the team the moment that he wore a Blues jersey or sweater was the great one, Wayne Gretzky.
Yeah.
Tell us about that time, his very first game as a Blue, and how amazing it was in your eyes to see 99 on the ice for the Blue. Though.
Well, we all look down again. Is this really happening? Is this really happening? We got the greatest hockey player ever wearing a Blue note, scores the very first time he ever touches the puck in a Blues uniform, and it's great. And him and Brett Hall are they're buds. They're on the same team. We make it to the third round, double overtime, nothing.
Right. Oh my God! Don't remind me.
And the idiot coach blames it on Gretzky, and it's like he'd have finished his career here. What are you doing?
Right.
I really think if he'd have finished, I can't see any reason why he wouldn't have finished it here. And it was almost like making him a scapegoat. What a bonehead move by. I'm so disappointed. I don't even like to remember his name anymore. The coach and GM. Never do that. Never do that again.
No name.
It's not even worth repeating.
At least he's still around St. Louis all the time, and I mean, I've watched him on, was it TNT or whatever show he does with Biz Nasty and whatnot. Like he's always defending the Blues, and he did the Heritage game here at Busch Stadium and whatnot. So he still shows his face around and supports St. Louis. So that's at least really awesome.
I would love, and I know they've retired his number across the league, but his jersey needs to be hanging. I don't care if he was there for 2 months or 3 months.
Really?
His jersey needs to be hanging in our rafters.
I haven't even thought about that because I'll just not saying one of the ones who don't feel like he should, but because like you said, he was only there for a hot second. I don't know about that one.
He laced his skates up in our building, and if no other team, I mean nobody else will ever have that number again. It should at least hang in whatever stadium he put a jersey on. That's my feeling.
It's kind of like Jordan. I know that in certain arenas, even with teams he didn't even play with, his jersey is retired in the rafters in certain arenas.
Well, I think it again. He's that was a very big shift in the National Hockey League. I mean, if you want to put it on, can pinpoint one person, it's what he did for hockey, and again what Jordan did for basketball. My word, that's and if I understand it right, he didn't make the junior team in his high school, did he? First year.
Yeah, he didn't make junior varsity, right?
That doesn't even seem conceivable.
Right. But look at him now.
Yeah. Yep. Amazing. But yeah,
so
having Gretzky here was again, it it was nice for St. Louis, and again, what a tragedy to take again, third round. I think it's the third or fourth time that as a team we ever made it to the third round, and you're double overtime with no score. Anything can happen, and it did.
Mm-hmm.
So
speaking of anything that can happen, with you being the towel guy and you seeing so many games and being around so many people, you had to have a crazy story that has happened a couple times during your life. Do you have anything that just pops up?
You mean as towel man?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, probably one story, and this is Jeremy Rutherford. His book, The 100 Things You Need to Know About the Blues Before You Die. I don't know. Are you familiar with that book?
Yes.
Yeah, we have it here at our house.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm chapter 88. And that was the year that the league went on strike. The new owners had just purchased the team, and the whole league went on strike. And it just kept dragging out. And the thing that was so disappointing about that is for 3 years they knew that they weren't happy with the contract, the Players Association contract. But they waited until right before the season, and they're not the only sports that has done that. But we did not have hockey until January 12th, 15th, something about the middle of January. And it was a shortened season. And first game back, and I'll never forget this, because the first game back was against Detroit, and it was the day that Stan Musial passed, and the Blues beat the Red Wings 6-0, and
of all numbers.
A 6 of all things. We scored 6 goals on that night. So before the game, a friend of mine, and if you get to know me, I grew up, again, there was 9 of us. We were very sarcastic. We loved jokes. We loved ribbing each other. And so before the game, we thought it would be funny to make a sign that says, "I'm still negotiating." So the Blues score their first goal, and I get up and come down to count the goal. And before I swing the towel, I hold the sign up that says, "I'm still negotiating." And the new owners did not think that was funny. So I actually ran that past a couple of alumni. They thought it was pretty funny. But again, anybody who knows me, I will go to far extremes to make somebody laugh or pull a gag or something. So after I had the sign up, boom, they took me off the Jumbotron. So we score again. I get up, I count the goal, no Jumbotron. Third goal, no Jumbotron. So I'm thinking, oh no, what did I do? And then as I thought about it, so the rest of the game, off the Jumbotron. And I thought, okay, well, I offended somebody. So we get back the next game, and no Jumbotron. So for the remainder of that year, I was not up on the Jumbotron. And so for whoever's feathers I ruffled, but I was to a point where, as a fan, and I buy my tickets, I pay for them. I have sponsors, and that helps me buy my towels, my T-shirts, and memorabilia and stuff like that. But I was like, I'm buying my tickets, and as a fan, I can be disappointed that the league let that go on strike, because you never make that back. You never make that back. And the thing that sports players and owners and stuff, and they need us as much as we need and love them. And I always said, if there was a way to take sports and say, okay, we're going to strike as many games as you miss, we're going to strike that many when you come back and you get to play to an empty stadium. But again, the logistics of that are just not feasible. But COVID gave them a feeling of it's not fun playing in an empty stadium.
Mhm.
So from that standpoint, I thought, oh no, what did I do? And then I thought, no, I'm entitled to be upset about this. But I'm just going to keep doing it, because what I'm doing, I'm not doing this to get on the jumbotron. I'm doing it for the fans and to try and support the team. So it's like, I'm just going to keep doing it. So I just kept doing it, and we kept counting and doing our thing. And then when Jeremy wrote the book, he was telling me, if you want to talk to somebody, they'll talk to you. And I'm like, what are we going to talk about? I said, I'm not doing this. This is not about me. This is about getting the fans involved. And I said, if they think keeping me off the jumbotron and drowning me out and trying to eliminate this, if they think that'll get a cup here faster, I'm all on board. And I think he was a little confused. He looked at me and thought, wow, that's a great place to come from. But my mom really instilled in us that I'm no better than anybody else, and nobody else is any better than me. We're all put here the same. And every fan in that building is just as important as I am, because without the fans, it's just a game.
So something that got my attention, just to be clear. So
yes,
since 1989, since you became a towel guy to present day,
yes,
you're still responsible for paying your own admission to a game.
Every game.
Wow. I thought you would have been like in the club, like, hey, we got you. Just come on through.
I will. I definitely have perks, and the establishment, they treat me well, as far as they welcome me, and but as far as the tickets and stuff, I'm no different than any other fan. I need a ticket to get in, and the merchandise and stuff that we do, it all has to be purchased just like everybody else. And I really think in the big picture, I think it's great that it keeps me grounded with everybody else in there. And if I was being paid to do that, maybe, just maybe, it would feel more like a job, and it might become more of a have to instead of a get to.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that we keep going and it's doing what it's doing, and it's important to me that every fan is treated as the most important person in that building. So maybe I wouldn't be doing it this long. So and I'm a firm believer everything happens exactly the way it's supposed to. I don't know if you get to the Enterprise very often, but last year they had the biggest, silliest sized banner of me on the side of the Enterprise for 10 months.
Wow.
It was 50 feet tall and 80 foot wide. It was the iPhone banner that they had up there. Yeah. And it was something that Apple did with, I think, 7 or 8 of the NHL teams. And they wanted to focus on the fans after COVID. They wanted to focus on the fans. So that's how that got up there. So it was
awesome.
Quite an honor.
That's awesome. How many games would you say since 1989 have you missed?
I had a stint there where I went 6 years without missing a game before COVID. Before COVID, this was all before COVID, and any year before that, once I had season tickets, I would average maybe 1 to 3 games that I would miss in a year. Very, very rarely was it 3, but with kids, there were events that came up, and I probably should have missed more games, but that's 1 to 3 games about the average that I did. And then with COVID, that was just something that I just had to trust everybody. Everybody did what they needed to do to feel safe. So
pretty much being a towel man provided sacrifices that you had to go through, missing certain moments because you were being a towel man.
Sometimes, but I tried to make sure that if with the kids, a lot of stuff can be negotiated and rearranged. So I mean, but there are certain things that I should have never missed my daughter's wedding. But there's time. You're married for a long time. No, I'm kidding. I didn't miss my daughter's.
I was about to say that's crossing the line, Mr. Towelman.
Oh my.
So talk about have there been any players or celebrities that you have met that you was like, wow, this is awesome to happen? And then on the flip side, is there someone that you would love to meet that you have not met?
Oh, I mean, when I first started this, again, it was very big with Brett Hall, and I did get to meet Gretzky when he first got on the team. The first towel that I used to count a goal at a home game, I give it to him. And I think he put it in a restaurant, one of his restaurants somewhere. But just being part of the, I got to do some of the golf tournaments with some of the teams, and then we've been through, I think, 4 owners, and some of the owners were more inclusive, and then when John Davidson became the GM, things they kind of tightened things up and kind of kept the players separated. But over the years, I've gotten to meet Glenn Hall, some of the original players, and a few players. Every now and then I get to know some of the alumni. Chaser, I know Chaser pretty well. I just don't, as far as any one person, I don't know. I don't know. I did get to meet John Hamm during the right before Game 6. That was nice. That was fun. I'd like to hang with him some night and share some stories. That'd be fun to do that with him.
Nice.
Yeah, just kind of hang. This last year, one of the things that I had some of these made. I got to find the camera here, which are kind of the towels bobble and the head, and it's great for making tough decisions. It's 50-50, so it's pretty good at making tough decisions.
I see. That's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome. Once again, this is your Wednesday night Sports Delight, the platform sports talk show. I am Smooth, and right below we have
Joe.
And on the big screen we have
Towelman.
There we go. This has been an incredible interview. Get them likes, get them shares going. This show is far from over. So continuing on, Mr. Towel Man, talk about having that connection with the organization, maybe the players, coaches, even the staff. Talk about that.
I try and make sure I know from I guess from the owner's standpoint, I realize that what I do and what I say has a reflection on the team, whether I want it to or not. So I always try and be respectful of that. And I'm Bob Plager was just such an incredible ambassador when it comes to the respect of your team and your emblem. It was very, very big that blue note on your jersey never hits the floor. You treat it with respect. You respect your the teammates who wear it, and those kind of things. But it's I always tell people I don't take myself too seriously, but I take what I do seriously. So everybody, you never know who's watching, and you never know when you're going to leave an impact on somebody. And I try. I love to have fun. I try to stay grounded, and I like to share with people. Just go out and be the friend that you want your friends to be, and a lot of problems go away.
That's great right there. Speaking of Bob Plager, there was a hockey game that I went to maybe about 4 or 5 years ago. One of my old former coworkers invited me to a game, and I thought it was pretty cool when I went to the game. And I had no idea that they were doing a jersey retirement ceremony, and to find out that that event was actually Bob Plager's jersey being put up to the rafters. And I was like, wow, that's amazing. And then, and of course, he passed away back in 2021, unfortunately. But I had no idea that it was a jersey retirement ceremony, and how the ceremony was. It was just amazing how you have Blues alum, he had his family there, and then seeing the banner, being raised up with his jersey on there. That was a pretty cool moment.
That's one of the few times I that choked me up. I saw it 2 or 3 times. It choked me up every time, lowering Barkley's jersey down to meet him and go up together. That was whoever came up. Just absolutely amazing.
Yes, it was. Yeah, that was very whoever, like you say, whoever thought about that, that was an incredible thought and gesture. Like you said, they actually had Barkley's jersey come down to meet up with Bob, and then they came together. It's like if you ain't if you don't have the bone in your body at that moment, something ain't right with you, because that was definitely a touching moment. And
Barkley, I believe Barkley was Bob's hero, because Barkley was an incredible player, gentleman, and great player. We're very blessed to have both those guys on our team.
So I brought up in the intro, outside of you being a towel man, but you have been self-employed for 38 some years now. Tell us about that feeling of just, some people may say you live in the American dream, not having that normal 9 to 5. Let's talk about you being self-employed for 38 years now.
I feel like I repeated what my dad did. My dad, I learned that from my dad. My dad grew up on a farm, and he just really he hated farming, and he said he had to think of some way to get out of that. So he became a cabinet maker, and he built himself. He laid all the cinder block. He hand mixed the concrete for the floor. He cut the trees down to make the timbers for the roof, and that building, to my knowledge, it was still standing 5 years ago. It unfortunately the property got sold, but I believe the building is still there. But he started that shop, and every evening he worked in it. And then as I grew up, his cabinet shop was next to our house, and from 8 years on, we were around it. We would clean the shop every night. We were learning woodworking skills without knowing it. I have 5 of my brothers are carpenters, and so basically, being in graphics and art and design, after I got out of South County Tech, I got involved with a sign painter. And he taught me the trade of painting signs and lettering with a paintbrush and paint. And I did that for almost 5 years before computers started to come in. So I basically kind of duplicated what my dad did. And I had a very distinct advantage, though, with 8 siblings. I kind of had a built-in advertising cord. It told all their friends and family that I painted signs and did graphics and stuff. So that, so all of that combined together, it worked. And yes, very, very blessed to be able to work for myself, and took me many, many years to learn how to say no out of fear that if I, didn't get a job, that I was going to maybe not get it again the next time. So you a lot of hours. I was working 16-hour days, especially when I first started with paint, because a lot of stuff you could only paint so far, and then you had to let it dry before you could take it to its next step.
Right.
Yeah. But again, there's yeah, I guess you develop if it's going to happen, or if it's to be, it's up to me. You got to go make it happen.
And that's where we have the birth of Ron Baechle Advertising Incorporation.
Yep.
So how has that business been for you?
It's provided a good living for myself, my family, my oldest daughter, who just turned 40. She's been working with me ever since she was 16. And I just turned 65, and I'm hoping that she continues. She works with me, and she's in the process of establishing her own. She's already got a couple, but she's an incredible photographer. She does a lot of keepsakes and mementos for weddings and births and birthdays and things like that. She does a lot of keepsakes, but she can letter a truck, or a roll-off box, a Conex box, a van, a crane. She can do anything I can do. She can do too. So she's very, very well equipped.
That's awesome. So Joe, if you need any signs done, we know who to talk to now.
There you go.
Apparently, yeah. Got everything down.
That's pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. So lastly, graphic commercial artists. So we know the times now with AI, artificial intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
We know that there are some pros and its cons. What are your thoughts in regards to how AI has been taking over these last, couple of years or a year or so now, and how so many people are now going towards using AI tools, except for maybe that person coming up with the brainstorming and actually doing the work manually?
There are parts of it that are scary, and then there's other parts that any and or all of it had to originate or come from somebody like you and me, somebody had to have the idea. And again, it's part of evolution. And it's like any invention, I think, that anybody's ever come up with. When you use it for the right reason and the right purpose, it's a great thing to have. It's when you take a great product and abuse it and use it for the wrong reasons that we get in trouble. So it's only going to be as good as we make it or guard it. Unfortunately, that everybody doesn't have the same intention. I look back at my dad. He was born in 1926, and I look at all of the things that came about in his lifetime. The vehicles, the airplane, the spaceships, computers, and he was 93 when he passed. That's a lot of stuff to adjust to or adapt to in a lifetime. So I can only imagine if I get there, in another 23 years, what's on the horizon. But real simply, if it's used the right way, I think it could be a great asset.
Right. Well, this has been an incredible interview with the Towel Man. Before we let you go, any thoughts in regards to the rest of the NHL season? I know that back in 2000 and what was that?
2019. Yep.
That the Blues made a change in head coaches during mid-season, and all of a sudden things turned around. Do you feel with this current team and how they have been put together that they have opportunity to make something like that happen, or do you feel now that we're in full rebuild mode and it may take a while to get back to the promised land?
Yeah, we may have just went from retooling to rebuilding, and I'm not sure yet. I do know the difference in age from the team that we had that won the cup, and the young kids and the new kids coming along. Because we actually went out and I believe they acquired 2 or 3 new coaches on the bench to try and deal with the nuances of the younger generation. I don't know what that is. I do know there was a time, and I believe in theory it was great that you get these kids in sports and you reward them and you want to build their self-esteem. And I'm just not sure giving everybody a trophy for just showing up is a best way to instill a compete in somebody. So I'm sure they're dealing with different things than we did. With that being said, if we can find somebody that comes in and can find a bridge that builds some camaraderie or some chemistry, I think if you get into the playoffs, I know this, anything can happen. I believe, and I don't have the statistics on this, but I believe the 16th seed has won the Stanley Cup as many times or almost as many times as the number 1 seed. I'd have to go back and look at that, but anything can happen because it's you got the preseason and then the pre/season, and then you got the real game when the playoffs come, because it's a different game. So the first step is to see if you can get there, and I think the possibility of getting there is I believe it's realistic because we have beaten some of the best teams in the league, but we've also lost to some of the worst teams in the league.
Worst teams. It's like, oh my goodness, what are you doing?
And the good thing about that is the bad teams don't make the playoffs, so you won't have to play them. But there's there's something there's got to be something in the mentality of how I'm going to play tonight based on how good you are or how bad you are. That's got to stop. That's
right.
If they can stop that, there's certainly a possibility. The season's not that gone that the possibility isn't there. It would be great to see lightning strike twice, but I know the odds of that aren't the greatest either. But one step at a time. We'll see what happens.
And that's what I feel. Berube wanted to bring out the best in each guy. You know what I'm saying? Play hard both sides of the puck, And one of the issues that I feel is going on with this team is just the lack of will. And if you don't have that will to want to be better than your opponent and doing what it takes to win, that's a problem. And that's not on Berube. He can't make you have will. You have to want that. And that's something that's lacking with these Blues players. And I'm gonna call them out. Guys like Jordan Kyrou and Robert Thomas, like y'all got paid to be the guy. Mm-hmm. And my thing is, if you're getting paid to be the guy, you have to show up day in, day out. It doesn't matter if you're a captain, assistant captain, whatever it is. You are getting paid to be that guy every game, but you have to have the will. You have to have the will to make things happen. And right now, I've heard and from 101 ESPN that Kyrou has improved defensively, but you had 30-some goals last year. But now you're like, what? How many goals does he have right now, Joe? Less than 10?
I think he has 5. I think he has 5.
So it's like you have to have a will. You have to have that spirit in you to be like, you know what? I'm not gonna let this other person outdo me. And I think that's lacking with this whole team right now.
Yeah, and you. This is where I say that the difference in age groups. If I got to the National Hockey League by scoring goals, and I always had somebody to feed me, and I never had to play defense, and then I show up on a team that says, okay, we want you to score goals, but you got to play defense too. That may be a problem because it's not that it can't be learned, but back to what you said. The number one thing is you got to have the desire to not want to lose. And I don't want to just, I'm okay with winning by 1 goal, but if I score 1 goal, I want to score 2. If I score 2, I want to score 3. And if you're a bad team, I don't want to beat you. I want to slam dunk you and stay up, taking a night off and playing when you want to is not an option. And that's where that has to change.
And I think it was either last week or 2 weeks ago, Randy Carricker, someone who I'm sure you know from 101 ESPN. Yes. We had him on our show a couple years ago, but he said recently, a couple weeks ago, the story of Brett Holt and the team that was the Blues are playing in LA. And Brett Holt made sure that they didn't go into overtime by staying on the ice, even when he was told to be off from his shift. He stayed on the ice because he wanted to make sure while they were in LA, he didn't want to waste time being on the ice in LA. He wanted to go ahead and enjoy his time in LA. So he stayed on the ice. He disregarded the coach and telling him, get off the ice. No, I'm staying on the ice to make sure we get off this ice before overtime, and he ended up scoring the goal. That's the mentality that we're missing from this Blue team, is having that will to say, you know what, no matter what, we are not going to lose this game. No matter if we're down by 3, 5, whatever it is, we're lacking that kind of mentality on this team. Is that, you know what, no, I don't care what's going on, but we're going to win this game. I'm going to make sure of it, and that's it. And right now, we're lacking that.
Yeah, and taking that one step further, being like Michael Jordan, who didn't want to lose at anything, not basketball.
Right.
He didn't want to lose anything. He didn't care if he was pitching pennies. He didn't want to lose.
Right. Joe, did you have any last words for our special guest, the Towel Man?
No, it's been a pleasure to talk to you for a little bit.
Yeah,
They're breaking our hearts lately, but we gotta throw the towels out there for a little bit. But no, this has been awesome. I always enjoy hearing the backstories and the upbringing of our special guests, especially people we see at every single Blues games we go to. So I always look forward to go down there and see you.
Well, you got to promise me next time you're down there, you come over and say hi.
Okay, tickets are kind of pricey these days, but I'll try my hardest.
It is. And I was just gonna say that I would love to go to a game, and I'll make sure I connect with you before I go to the game. I'll tell you when I'm going or whatever. But I would love to be able to sit next to you and have that full experience of being with the Towel Man, being next.
And that's something that's something we can do. We can make that happen. We'll get a game. And we'll figure out what day works best for you, and we will absolutely make that happen.
Sounds good. I'll make sure that great content and everything for that event for that time.
All right. Very good. And then you'll have to give me some shirt sizes, because nothing worse than giving you a shirt that's too small and doesn't fit.
I got you. My whole Sports Talk Show family will be looking forward to it. Did you have any special shout outs before we let you go?
Just that all the Blues fans and everybody down there that comes every night and participates, and need to say thank you and I love you to my wife Mary, who's put up with me being down there all the time and in the games, and my three daughters, Abby, Jessica, and Caitlin. Again, I'm very blessed to be able to do what I'm doing and get to be me on a daily basis, game by game, and I get to meet incredibly good people, and again, try and go be the friend you want your friends to be, and the world will be a much better place.
Exactly. I'm going to send you the link from tonight's show so you can share it with your family, your friends, etc. Please feel free, if you don't mind, to let everyone know about the Platform Sports Talk Show so they can tune in to see how special this show really is. And it's definitely been a pleasure to have you on our show.
Same here. Thank you for having me. Nice meeting you both.
You do have a great night.
All right. Let's go Blues.
LGB.
Let's go Blues. All right. And that was our special guest, Joe Bo, the Towel Man. Great interview, huh?
Yeah, it was. That's a long time to be.
Right. I'm just saying, that was me. I'll probably be a little more buffer, like.
Right. His one shoulder and bicep must be massive.
Man, it's crazy. It's crazy. And you know what? I meant to do this, but you know what? Matter of fact, he's still on here. Matter of fact, hold on, Towel Man.
All right. Okay.
There we go. He's still on here. So
okay.
This man actually did a commercial for the Blues. Let's show it real quick.
That's
how
funny.
commercials. Those are so cool.
How cool was that doing a commercial for the Blues?
It was great. It was great. I've been able to do about 4 or 5 over the years. I actually had one that I got to do with Chick-fil-A, but I guess the people above them opted to not use it. It was I think there's 5 individually owned Chick-fil-A's in St. Louis, and the 5 in St. Louis were going to use it in this area, and but it never made the channels, but it was fun. It was fun.
Yeah, definitely. It looked fun. And once again, thanks for your time. And you have a wonderful, once again, rest of your evening. And
I will do that. Yep. You guys have a great evening too. Take care.
Oh, there we go. I'm glad that he stayed on. I had to make sure I showed the commercial while he was on. I'm like, oh, wait a minute, I forgot. But no, be all good now. So, yeah, once again, great interview with the Towel Man. Jobo, we know we have some stuff to talk about outside of Blues hockey or hockey in general. So let's get right into it. You now have my attention. What sports story or stories has your attention?
Well, let's just go ahead and just get a couple things out of the way at once. Shohei Ohtani. Like, all right, this dude signed a $700 million contract.
Let's talk about it.
It's only getting paid $2 million every year until I think like 2034 or so. I don't even remember what year. But he's only getting paid $2 million. So once that time frame goes up, then they'll be paying him $68 million. He's like Bobby Bonilla, but he's good. And
right.
And it's weird is I did like I feel like every single day something new comes out about this contract. So like yesterday I think it was is like, oh, so like the Dodgers will have to show that they have not the 68, but I think it's like the 45, at least $45 million in their bank account to show that they'll be able to pay that later. But it's the Dodgers, of course they have that money to, you know what I'm saying? And then today it came out that
yes, talk about it. Let's go. Let's talk about it.
Today it came out that because at first it was there's no opt-outs. And then today, like a couple hours ago, came out that, you know, there's a clause in his contract where if Andrew Friedman, I think it's his name, and then someone else that's part of the ownership group, if they
Mark Walter.
All right, so if those two guys or if one of them decides to just leave or they get fired or whatever, then Shohei at the end of that year can be like, all right, I'm done. I'm opting out.
That is, man. All right, so one, before I even go there, as soon as you heard about the contract, you said in our chat, ain't no one worth $700 million. I disagree because of everything that Shohei is about. And this man has proven to me that he is worth all that. Because he is, as you know, he's won the MVP 2 of the last 3 years now. Mm-hmm. He's one of the most elite pitchers in the game and hitters in the game. There's pretty much nothing that this man can't do. So in my eyes, Joe, I don't feel there's not an issue to me in regards to.
Have you watched him field a baseball?
I know that he had a few stints of playing in the outfield. Now, granted, it wasn't like it was a need for him to remain in the outfield, but I feel like because of who he is, he'll be just fine if he had to play a week or two or whatever in the outfield if need be.
So I'm just saying, I also said in the chat as well, is I don't think this guy is going to pitch. And I can say this guy, okay, he's Shohei Ohtani. Everyone knows who he is. There's no way Ohtani is going to pitch more than 5 years on this contract. It's not going to happen. He's already had his second elbow procedure, because I don't think he's had Tommy John with it this time around, but he's already had his second elbow procedure. And so then you're just giving that amount of money to a DH. I'm sorry, then he's just Yordan, and then he's like Judge, and you know, the same type of players that. But Judge actually plays in the outfield very good, and Yordan, he has a cannon of an arm. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't. And the guy last year, just in Anaheim, imagine what it's going to be like in LA. He made $40 million in endorsements last year.
Right.
That's the only reason why he's accepting the fact to get only $2 million a year for the first 6 or 7 years because he makes so much. Did you see that his jersey already passed Messi and Ronaldo?
Yes.
Ronaldo?
Yes. And that's what lead me to this is that this man is probably the smartest athlete outside of LeBron James in the game because of the way that he set up his contract. Like you said, to have $2 million for the next 10 years, and then his last couple of years of the contract, he's gonna be getting buku of money those last couple of years. And then to have the opt-out if the president of baseball operations and the owner decides to leave, he can just say, you know what, I'm gone. I have never seen a contract like this.
What are we gonna see tomorrow, you think? What else is coming up next? No, I won't wear the City Connect jerseys because they're ugly, and so like,
hey, whatever it is, I love it because he's setting a precedent and showing how smart he is in regards to how he got the contract made. I have nothing but respect for
the thing
how
is not everyone can do this. Not everyone can get away with this.
Because not everyone is Shohei.
I know, but I mean, like Judge had a pretty big say in a lot of his contract from last year. We're seeing that this year. Judge is probably the number one reason why they got Juan Soto on their team. Steinbrenner literally said that me and Judge are looking into what we're gonna do this offseason. Like, you know, Judge has that same say so as well. So there's not many people that can, but it's just mind blowing. You can be like, you can't trade me. There's no opt outs. But if my guys go, then I'm gone. Like that's mind blowing.
So if you started a team, your own team, and you have the option to choose Ohtani or Judge, who you taking?
Well, right off this very second, I'm gonna take Ohtani because Judge has his injury history all around, not just one way or another.
And even if both guys were fully healthy and never got injured in their careers, or no injury was coming anytime soon, you would still take Ohtani because of what he brings pitching wise, offensively, and if he did play defense in the outfield, which I feel. Well, see, here's the whole thing. The league did the DH. So it's not his fault if he's going to be in the DH.
Well, yeah, it's no one's fault.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, hey, he's in a perfect situation. And
that's what I'm saying, though. If he ends up cannot throw a baseball, can't wipe his ass one day because his elbow's chopped up, then he's just a DH getting paid that much money. Like, to me, that's just, I'm sorry. I can't give a DH that amount of money. There's no way. And the only team that could have gotten away with this is either the Dodgers or the Yankees, and that's just a fact.
and based off the contract, obviously they don't care. And which leads me to this: the Dodgers made an incredible, shrewd move in regards to how they acquired Ohtani, and this is something that, Joe, they just let Major League Baseball know how they are the smartest organization because of how they did the contract in regards to deferring all that money. And this is kind of stuff, Joe, that John Mozeliak years back, not saying $700 million or whatever, but he was known to be a shrewd owner, which he was able to acquire certain guys where people didn't even think it would be possible. He made happen. And that's what's lacking with the Cardinals right now. And the Dodgers have just proven that they are above the rest in regards to being proactive and thinking smart in regards to how they are acquiring top tier talent, because now Shohei has deferred so much money, it's a very possibility that they can get Yamamoto. And if you didn't see today, what's his name? Oh God, what's his name?
Freeman Betts.
Yeah, no. Tyler Glass now.
Oh yeah.
He may be traded to the Dodgers. This is by Ken Rosenthal. He may be traded anytime now to the Dodgers. So you're talking about Ohtani, you're talking about Glass now, and then possibly
Yamamoto.
yeah, him, and then they said Freeman, Mookie Betts, and Ohtani all met. They were all there at the meeting to see about this pitcher, man. And the Dodgers are doing everything smart. And that's the thing that I'm mad about with the Cardinals organization is that they used to be that organization where they knew how to make those right shrewd moves that had everyone else pissed off. Like, how did y'all get McGuire? How y'all get Matt Holliday? How y'all end up getting, Beltran and whatever else, getting Berkman and getting this guy here that would be a key cog into us winning a championship. That's what I've been missing from this organization, and I don't know how the Cardinals are going to, can come back and make that happen again, where they can make shrewd moves to be like, man, y'all sneaky sons of, what I'm saying?
I don't think it's. I don't want to say fair is the right word, but I'm gonna say it right here. I don't think it's fair to compare the Dodgers to the Cardinals when it comes to something
have
like
more money.
this. Yeah, it's just a proof. We all know Bill DeWitt is rolling in cash. Okay, he's sleeping on a mattress filled with it. But the Dodgers have more money. It's a more likable place that people want to go to. I don't know if you saw the whole Giant situation. That
Right.
the Giants offered almost the exact same deal, even with the
And Blue
deferrals. Yeah, well, the Blue Jays too, and that's something else. I don't know. I don't think Otani's going to get booed by everyone this coming year, but he's going to get some boos. And he's never experienced that before in his career. But going back to the Giants, Buster Posey was even saying that because he was there meeting with Otani, that he was upset that they didn't come through, and that he thinks that the stuff outside of the stadium going around in San Francisco, if you see anything on social media or the news, it's not a pretty place in San Francisco right now outside of going to just a baseball game. So he thinks maybe that was possibly a reason why Shohei didn't want to go there. Maybe that was why Judge didn't want to go there last year. And as for the Blue Jays, I don't. That whole situation, like, it's funny when you think of it, but like it's kind of messed up. If what
It is.
happened is true, then yeah, I lost a sliver of respect for Shohei if he had anything to do with what happened, because you have a reporter like John Morosi who's very liked by everyone. He does hockey. He sits there and does every Hispanic interview in Spanish with these players to make them feel more comfortable. And then Otani's camp, possibly we haven't even been told if this is true or not, but Morosi wasn't on social media for 2 to 3 days after this happened, so I'm thinking it's true. That
Right.
Otani's camp told Morosi, yeah, we're flying to Toronto to meet with the Blue Jays, yada yada yada. Get a whole freaking country excited that Shohei is going to be on their team. And then the dude's sitting in California the whole time. Like, that's a little messed up to me. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I think
It
how
is.
Otani did his whole free agency, he's his own person, whatever you want to do, but he did some things that was kind of messed up.
Yeah, it is. And flat out, it was wrong, and you're trying to discredit the credibility of someone like you said, John Morosi and other reporters who are trying to get that scoop and trying to put out stuff, which
And
should be
Morosi's like
factual.
the big WBC reporter. He's the one that's there for all that stuff. So he's talked to Otani, and that's just like kind of irked me a little bit. But I mean, regardless, obviously you don't win the World Series in December. We have seen that many times before. The Yankees haven't even sniffed a World Series since 2009. And the Dodgers have only won one World Series since the 80s, and that was in a 60-game season. So are they going to win the World Series now? Not necessarily, but obviously they're becoming that team that people are growing to not like because they get away with this stuff.
And that's the beauty, and has been the beauty of baseball, is when you have those teams that people just don't like because they just get away with whatever, because they have money. That's what the game has been missing. So I
And then
look
they get
forward
swept
to
by the Dodgers and by the D-backs in the playoffs. So.
right. So hey, that's the beauty of baseball right there. So definitely stay tuned for that. I have a few things for what has my attention. This just came up a couple of hours ago, but the University of Utah, the Utes, as Stan would say, you know how big everything is now, Joe, with NIL and how they have taken over college sports. Well, recently the basketball and gymnastics athletes just today were given an opportunity, a choice to choose between the following. Let me show you the video. Every athlete that's under the basketball and gymnastics and also football, as long as they're on scholarship, they have a choice to choose between a 2024 Jeep Grand Cherokee or a 2024 Ram 1500 Bighorn truck. Now, here's the thing, is that the athlete can keep the vehicles as long as they are on scholarship and they do not go into the transfer portal. Do you, man, Joe? I wish I was back in school. I would not leave my school because
I would
now,
have tried harder in school.
oh my goodness, like I can't wait till my baby girl goes to college. Ain't no telling what she's gonna be getting in NIL money based off of whatever she wants to be a part of. But each student, not just the best player or the coach, whatever. No, each student can get a vehicle as long as they pretty much stay in Utah and play for that specific sport on the scholarship. That is crazy. That's how NIL is right now. And that is freaking amazing. Freaking amazing. And I love Jeep vehicles. I got one. So, man, I'm like, yeah, I'm here all 4 years. I ain't going nowhere. But no, that's amazing. And like I said before, on the lease, it says if the player decides to transfer or they're not on scholarship no more for that team, as soon as they leave, the truck is not theirs no more.
There's been a lot of big name transfers lately too, so imagine that that's part of the deal now.
So, secondly, we all know about Draymond Green and what happened a few weeks ago against Timberwolves, as you see right
out of here, and then all of a sudden Gobert comes in, and Draymond's like, no.
Yeah, it's
chill out.
And then Draymond, he headlocked Gobert there, so.
So as you saw, he headlocked and dragged around the court Rudy Gobert from the Timberwolves, and he was suspended for a while. Just came back, been playing for the last couple of games, getting to the group of things, and then last night, this happened.
Oh man! Well, that's going to be a flake.
So he says in his press conference that he was trying to sell the foul to Yusuf Nurkic of the Phoenix Suns, but as you saw, he just gave him a haymaker from out of nowhere, and now he has been suspended indefinitely by the NBA. And my wife and I were talking about this earlier today and yesterday, actually, about his actions, and I've always said that. To me, Draymond is the heart and soul of the Warriors because of what he brings to the table, or what he means to his team. And what sucks to me is that you just got paid. Like, you just signed an extension to be on a team longer, got paid millions, and then you come around the very next season and you're jeopardizing your team because of your actions. And now you can't even be on the floor at all because of your actions. There's no telling how long you're going to be out from the Warriors. And just found out that now he's going to be taking counseling with the Warriors and the NBA as well. So he has to go through counseling as well, along with being suspended indefinitely from the Warriors. And it's like, dude, there's no reason for you to have to do all this stuff when the team needs you, especially during a time like this where the team is getting older. You know, they're not the same, you know, young whippersnappers as the old people say. You know, they're aging and they need you to be on the court, but yet you do stuff like this. And like Draymond, come on.
Yeah, Miss Williams says I think Dre needs some anger management counseling, and yeah, it's just I think the guy that he literally punched there on the court was saying the dude needs help, and he does. Like, you can't just choke someone, just come back, and then you're throwing punches on the court. Like, what? Trevor Plouffe always says, "What is you doing, baby?" And what are you doing? You know, like, you get paid to play a game, and you're over here throwing. You're not playing street basketball. Like, you're literally on a court, and it's just, I don't know. Every time I see Draymond, I just shake my head in disbelief because he'll be back. He'll be back soon, and he'll be playing in the playoffs, and nothing ever happened whenever it gets to that point. But the dude needs help. I agree with whoever said that.
All right, so now it's time for.
Oh, that's hot. That's hot.
That's my favorite one.
Off-season hot stove talk. So, of course, last week we had Guy Torrey on the show, so we didn't have really opportunity to really talk about this. But last week it was announced, Joe Bo, that Yadier Molina is the special assistant to the president of baseball operations. I know it's a new role. No one ever heard about it.
It sounds like Dwight Schrute's role on The Office. That's what it sounds like. The assistant.
But I like this role because we all know from what you've been hearing about recently that he's too busy to be like a bench coach right now, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I love the fact that, of course, he's back in the fold. But he's going to be around. He can be in the dugout. He can be around the team anytime he wants to. And I said this before. I think this is going to be amazing for the team, but especially for one man, and that's Wilson Contreras. I think it's going to pay dividends for this team, their attitude, their approach to the game, being more prepared. Even the pitchers, they should be that much improved because you're going to have Yadi right there in the mix. What are your thoughts in regards to Molina being back in the fold with the Cardinals?
No, I agree with everything you just said. And like, we've heard players from last year, and even Helsley kind of said it on Foul Territory a week or two ago. It's just the clubhouse itself wasn't even right last year. Like, something was off. And I think people have mentioned before, there was no leadership. There was no fire. Like, I can't imagine last year happening the way it happened if Yachty was still on the team or if Albert was on the team. Like, we know Waino could get fiery whenever he wants to get fiery, but Waino's not that type of guy like Yachty is to, you know, put his foot down and get the team to it. So even though he's not gonna be a player, everyone in baseball, let alone that dugout, respects him. And having someone like him, Danny D on the team, and then Ali not getting it extended yet. Who knows what next year is going to look like, or not next year, but 2025 is going to look like with this coaching staff. But it's exciting, and you get to see Yachty back out there. You know, obviously he's not squatting down, but if he's there opening day, he's going to get the biggest round of applause. I can tell you that.
Definitely. Word is from Derek Gould that the Cardinals are maybe considering giving Goldsmith an extension so he can be a Cardinal for life. Do you feel that right now it's too early to do that? Should they wait till the season? Like, for me, I feel they should wait until the middle of the season, see how he's doing on the field before giving him that extension now. what are your thoughts in regards to Goldie and giving him that extension before the season?
I mean, I'm fine with it because it's not like you're giving DeYoung an extension in spring training after one good year. Like Goldie's still going to be Goldie. He had a down year last year, which was still 20, 80, and batting almost 300 and playing good defense. And we just sat here and talked about with the towel man how there's no experience on the Blues team, and what does Goldie bring you? He brings you experience and leadership, and same thing with Nato. So I don't care when they do it, but I think it needs to be done. Probably no more than 3 or 4 years, but the sooner the better, honestly, just to get it over with. But as long as it doesn't affect you from possibly signing a bullpen arm or whatever, then I'm all for it.
I do have some somewhat breaking news. The NHL game, the Penguins and the Canadiens, they just got done, Joe, with 12 rounds of a shootout in overtime.
Jeez.
12 rounds. And they say that this is the longest NHL shootout since November 22nd, 2016. And the Penguins did win the game. But can you imagine 12 rounds of a shootout? Good Lord.
Yeah, that's nutty.
Good Lord. But going back, that was once again.
Oh, that's hot. That's hot.
There we go.
In that game also, though, Sidney Crosby did move into a tie, 13th all time with points. So that's pretty cool because Crosby's been doing it for a long time now.
Congrats to Sid the Kid. Now, NFL, and man, woo, got some games to talk about real quick. So the Patriots did defeat the Steelers, but Joe, you sent me something last night that I saw coming, but they made it official. And what was the news you told me last night about someone from the Patriots?
It's gonna be Bill Belichick's gonna be done after the end of the year, which, yeah, I think you've mentioned it before. I know some people on social media all over the place was saying that it's gonna happen in season. There's no way that's gonna happen in season. Like, he's done too much for your organization to do that. But yeah, at the end of this year, he's gone, and that's Belichick's been their coach for like almost as long as I've been alive. So that's gonna be weird seeing someone else on the sidelines for him.
And the Jets surprisingly beat the Houston Texans. Man, I don't know if you saw that Rams game versus the Ravens, but the Rams had the game, and then they went to overtime, and then the punt return by the Ravens.
I didn't see it, but when I saw the final score, I thought of Sedal and Stanton right away. I'm like, because we were just talking about how they were on a roll, and they made it close, but they lost.
Let's see. Another game I want to highlight. Let me see. The Broncos, 24-7. They have been on a roll. They have not lost. Let me see real quick. The Broncos.
I think they're like 5 out of the last 6 or something.
They have won. Let me see. I mean, they have been on a roll. Let me see. They have won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They have run 7 games in a row. And they are right, and I'll show you in a second, but they are right behind the Chiefs in regards to winning.
The Texans just beat them like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, but the Texans lost the last 2 games now. They've been on the they've been kind of like on the slide now. Miss Dub says the Rams snatched defeat from the jaws of victory.
Oh, we gotta say though, Herbert, he's out for the year now too. So many quarterback injuries this year.
Yeah, unfortunate. The Cowboys made their claim as one of the best teams in the NFL by defeating the Eagles 33-13. Then you had 2 games on Monday Night Football, 2 upsets. The Packers came in that game on fire. They lost to the Giants, and the Dolphins came in on fire and lost to the Titans, which leads to this next slide, the playoff picture. So as of right now, if the playoffs were to start today, the top seeds in the AFC, we have the Ravens, and in the NFC, the 49ers. In the wild card round, 7th seed would be the Colts versus number 2 seed, the Dolphins. 6th seed, the Steelers versus number 3 seed. Number 3 seed, the Chiefs. They came from number 1 seed to number 3 seed. And Joe, since Mahomes has been in the league, the Chiefs have not played one playoff game on the road. Since he's been in the league, they have not played a playoff game on the road. It's going to change this year. Number 5 seed, the Browns versus number 4 seed, the Jaguars. In the NFC, Green Bay, number 7 seed versus number 2 seed, the Cowboys. Number 6 seed, the Vikings versus number 3 seed, the Lions. And then number 5 seed, they came from the 1st seed last week, Joe, to now the 5th seed, the Eagles. And they will face, as of right now, the number 4 seed, the Buccaneers. So a lot of changes is going on in the NFL. And I have to bring this up because we talked about the Chiefs a while back. And one of the issues has been their wide receiver play. You have guys who be wide open and they miss catches. Then you have something like this that happens.
There's a flag down at the line of scrimmage as the pass is to an open Travis Kelce, who flings it back over to Tony. My goodness, this is going for a touchdown.
So you think right there, here we go. The Chiefs just came back. They won the game. It's all good. Everyone's celebrating in Kansas City. It's like, yes, we got it. But if you saw on the bottom of the screen, there was a flag on the play. It's because
offside, number 19, offense, lined up in the neutral zone. Wow. 5-yard penalty. Check it out.
Tony was lined up.
Got to be kidding me.
In the neutral zone. So Travis Kelce, who went to Cincinnati, at a Cleveland Heights High School in Ohio, an old quarterback, threw a perfect spiral for what looked like an improbable touchdown.
It just can't happen. These receivers can't get out of the way of hurting the team too many times at the end of the game.
So as you saw, Kadarius Toney, he lined up off sides. And normally, and here's the biggest thing, is that receivers normally check with the referee to make sure that they're not offsides. He, on that play, he was obviously over the line, but he pointed his finger out to the referee and just put it right back down. He didn't really acknowledge from the referee if he was good to go or not. And that was the issue. And all of a sudden, I mean, not all of a sudden, but you saw the end result was that they got called back. Chiefs lost the game. Patrick Mahomes is boo-hooing. Sound like this real quick. Let's see. Here we go. He sound like this.
But Kermit the Frog edition, because that's what everyone says he sounds like. But that annoyed me. How you couldn't even just tell Josh Allen good game, bro. You didn't even say anything. You just bitched to him the entire time. Come on, you got 2 rings. You're a good quarterback. Just act like it. Just act like it.
Why the wifey got to do this, Joe? Oh, come on. Wifey, I love you, but after the show, we're gonna have to talk. We gotta have a talk. Yeah, but yeah, and she was a big supporter of the Chiefs last year. And she told me last week, she's like, you know what, I might have to switch teams and choose a different team this year, because she's like a bandwagon fan. You know, whoever's
Jamie, you're one of them, huh?
Yeah. So, but no, I mean, it's just all bad because, like you just said, Patrick Mahomes, the Chiefs, they've had a great run. Not saying it's over at all, because I truly feel that even during this adversity that they may have a road game possibly in the playoffs, that I'm not giving up on the Chiefs. I'll still make it to the Super Bowl. I still believe that they can still make it happen.
Yeah, I mean it's like Brady, even on the bad teams. Like even last year going in, was it last year, 2 years ago? I don't even know what year it is anymore. But with the Buccaneers going into the playoffs, I was like, it's Tom Brady. They're fine, you know. And that's how you're gonna feel about teams that are like that. You know, they got a good quarterback. They have that one guy, Travis Kelce, and you think there's hope. You know, that's just how it's always gonna be.
Right. So, real quick, we have the NFL standings. So once again, a lot has changed. Cowboys are tied with the Eagles in the NFC East. The North is still Detroit Lions, our team that we picked, Joe. The South is still bad. No team is over 500. NFC West, the 49ers got that division, but the Rams and Seahawks are right there for a playoff spot. AFC East, the Miami Dolphins. They lost last game, but they still have the top spot. AFC North, Baltimore has the top spot. Cleveland is 2 games behind. AFC South, Jacksonville Jaguars had the opportunity to be the best team in the AFC, but they lost their last game. And the AFC West, once again, the Denver Broncos are right behind the Chiefs, and they have been on a roll. So shouts out to Sean Payton, shouts out to Russell Wilson, and congrats to him and his wife Sierra for having a baby girl, I believe, baby girl this past week. So shouts out to them. Ms. Dub said they have talent. They do need to get their heads in the game in regards to the Chiefs, I believe. So a lot going on right now in the world of football, and it's that time of the year. You know, each game is more and more important, and look forward to it. Speaking of looking forward to it, the Missouri Tigers are going to the Cotton Bowl. Congrats to them. They will be facing Ohio State, and I love this matchup. I was scared that the committee may choose, just a team that doesn't have as much prestige as Ohio State. But Missouri is playing Ohio State. It will be in Dallas in AT&T Stadium, home of the Cowboys. It will be on December 29th at 7 o'clock Central Standard Time on ESPN. And I am looking forward to this matchup. I hope that they show up and show out. Even if Ohio State doesn't even play their best players, let them know, hey, it's y'all fault that y'all didn't want to play y'all best players, because we come here to win. And this would be a great opportunity for recruits, for even the current players, of course, to have the opportunity to play in a big-time New Year's Bowl and show up and do their thing and represent Mizzou. So I'm excited about this game, and I hope that it's going to be a great turnout. But I hope that it's a great game overall, and Mizzou shows up and do their thing.
Yeah, I know Brennan's excited for it. It's gonna be weird though. They haven't played in weeks, leading up to it. So I know they have their practices and whatnot, but hopefully there's not a lot of rust to shake off.
Yeah, Miss Dub says at least the Cotton Bowl is one that we've heard of. Right. Ain't no ain't no poopa scoop bowl. And it looks like a good matchup. So yes, I will be tuned in. I look forward to the matchup. And once again, you're playing against one of the most prestige, respected programs in all of college football. And I look forward to the matchup. It should be pretty amazing. Last but not least, before we end this show, talked about it before. You asked Joe, what is the freaking NBA in-season tournament? And as you see on your screen now, the Los Angeles Lakers are the winners of the tournament. LeBron James won the MVP. People were asking about this, like, what's the importance of it? What's the meaning and why it's such a big deal? The biggest thing is that it gives teams who are normally not in the spotlight on national TV an opportunity to be a part of something special where once you get past the group phase, you get to the knockout round where it's like NCAA college basketball where you cannot lose the game at all. You win, you keep it going. And that's how it was for the knockout round. And you saw the Indiana Pacers. They lost. They were the runner-up. But the world was able to see Tyrese Halliburton, able to see the whole squad. And they showed up. Yes, they lose to the Lakers, but they are going to be a team to mess with down the line. And you saw how the team came together, and I just want to give props to the Pacers because they showed up and they beat the Celtics. They beat the Milwaukee Bucks on the pathway to going to the final. And Miss Dub says, glad Lakers won the in-season tournament because I think the chances at the finals are slim. Ooh, we're going to find out about that. We're going to find out about that, Miss Dub. But to me, it was great. I was into it. I was acting like it was the finals. But I just wanted to see, for me, how the Lakers would be playing in a pressurized championship game. I know it's not the finals, but still, it's still something that's going to help this team to learn how to win in big pressurized moments. And I love how the NBA how everything came about in regards to the in-season tournament. The ratings were crazy in a great way, and it put the spotlight on players that you may not have seen a lot prior to the tournament. So shouts out to the Lakers, shouts out to LeBron for being the first MVP, and of course his team being the inaugural champions for the NBA in-season tournament. Now, on the flip side, Joe, I love the Lakers, okay? They are about winning championships. But they just announced recently that the Lakers are going to have an actual NBA in-season banner that's going to be in the rafters at crypto.com arena. And like I said, I love the Lakers. Okay, I'm there. Let's go. Let's get it. But even in my eyes, I may have to say, okay, maybe a little bit too much to have a whole banner because of the NBA in-season tournament. What are your thoughts in regards to that, Joe?
I thought it was dumb to watch them pop champagne and beers and whatnot. I thought that was idiotic. Like, there was literally a video of LeBron spraying beer. LeBron James spraying beer over a regular season game. So yeah, that's how I feel. Like, that's aren't there a lot of banners already there? Like, why is I just don't even know what to say about it, honestly. That's like the Cardinals last year. We won the spring training. We were champions of spring training. We should hang that up somewhere at Busch Stadium.
Right.
But that's idiotic, especially for a team like the Lakers to do something like that. That's just embarrassing, honestly. But whatever floats their boat. I mean, we talked about it last week, though. That entire tournament was a money grab. Yeah, maybe it was okay to have some players out there that you probably don't know of and whatnot, and teams that don't get the big spotlight. But you even mentioned ratings. It was a money grab to do something like that in season. So I mean, whatever. I'm sure they'll have a giveaway night too with their banner. So I don't know. Everything's about money these days, obviously.
Miss Dub says, take your wins where you can get them. Yes, like I said, I agree with that. But in regards to the banners and everything, it's only December. It's like, But like I said, overall, though, it is great for the league because they're making sure that players are staying honed in to the early part of the season, where normally a lot of players may have been taken off. Or like I said before, you may not know about certain players or certain teams because you don't see them in the spotlight as much. But this gave them that spotlight to made things happen, and that's what the NBA in-season tournament is about. And that's why I love what Adam Silver has done for the league, is that he's being proactive. Miss Dub says banner is maybe a bit much. Like the plan is they have a whole pre-game ceremony and everything for this banner. It's like, okay, I love the Lakers, I love LeBron, let's go, but the banner is a little bit too much.
You
but
would think that LeBron would think that's embarrassing. All right, here, who we talked about last week? Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant would give two shits about something like this. You know, a banner being put up over a regular season game. That's all I'm saying. That's just weird to me. Goofy.
Yeah. But you know, like I said, it's all good. I'm glad that the Lakers won, and LeBron was able to say, "Hey, I'm the first guy to be, MVP of the inaugural in-season tournament, and my team won, the whole nine." So I'm good with that. But speaking of good, this was not good, great. This was another great show. And shouts out to the towel man, Ron Baechle, for being an incredible guest. I hope that you all have enjoyed the Platform Sports Talk Show. Once again, your Wednesday night sports delight, as I have the St. Louis Blues championship bottle right here in my hand. I'm not going to drink it. I'm going to just preserve it. This thing is pretty cold. I'm surprised. It's holding up, but yeah. Definitely had a wonderful time. Hope y'all enjoyed the show. Once again, please feel free to share what we have going on Facebook, on the X, on YouTube. They can subscribe, Joe, on YouTube, and click on that
bell,
because anytime we go live,
you will be notified.
There it is. Once again, prayers up to Stan. He has the vid right now. Pray that it's over and in a quick amount of time that he's back to full health. It was amazing to see Bunny last night at the comedy show, along with Sadal. The wife and I was there, and we had a great time holding things down, supporting Guy Torres gave us a shout out doing his set last night multiple times as well, so people know about the Platform Sports Talk Show. Miss Dub, we understand it's all good. You came on the show and you held things down, and of course, people can always just watch the replay of the show. So whatever they missed, they can check it out. And don't forget, Hot 365 on Sundays. You can listen to the replay of the show in its entirety as well. So with that being said, I am your boy Smooth, along with
Joe.
You all have a wonderful rest of your week, and we see y'all next week on the Platform Sports Talk Show. We out.